Hey guys, Josh from CaliforniaThroughMyLens.com. Today we're in Lassen Volcanic National Park, hiking to Devil's Kitchen. The Devil's Kitchen Trail is a 5-mile round-trip hike that takes you to a hydrothermal area in Lassen Volcanic National Park. You can also add miles onto this hike and visit Terminal Geyser and Boiling Springs Lake as well. The trail is in the Warner Valley area of Lassen, next to the only non-camping lodging in the park, Drake's Bad Guest Ranch. It is a good 45 minutes from the park's southern entrance, so keep that in mind if you want to visit. We've been driving through cabins and stuff, and now we've officially entered Lassen National Park. If you're entering the park from this way, you do have to actually pay for your pass before going in. You'll want to park by the Boiling Springs Lake trailhead parking, and that's where you'll start the hike. Today we're on the east side of Lassen. This is not an area that's connected to the main road, and we're heading out on the 4.5-mile trail to the Devil's Kitchen, which is another geothermal area. This trail is a great example of the hydrothermal areas in the park, and it's not as popular as Bump as Hell, so it's a great place to get a little bit more solitude. The trail begins by going through a few meadows on an elevated boardwalk. It is absolutely stunning right from the beginning, and I even saw deer while I was walking through. This trail is absolutely beautiful so far. We're going alongside a creek. We're like in a meadow. There's a little elevated boardwalk. It is really pretty. The trail continues along the creek with a couple water crossings as you head back. It may have just been the time I was there in the summer, but it was so green and beautiful everywhere you looked. Those buildings right there are the only lodge in the park. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll link to it in the description. Alright, we reached a junction for the Geyser and Boiling Springs Lake, that direction, and then Devil's Kitchen. We're gonna go to Devil's Kitchen first, but we might go to Boiling Springs Lake on the way back. So Devil's Kitchen is one of two major geothermal areas in Lassen Volcanic National Park. The other one is Bump as Hell, which you can see a video of here. If you only have a short time in the park, then Bump as Hell is definitely the best trail for you, but if you're exploring it over a few days, then definitely come out to Devil's Kitchen as well. We're about 1 mile in, and we made it to this big old meadow. Walking through the meadow is one of my favorite parts of the hike, but you can see the smoke and haze from the fire that was about 40 miles east when I was there. So this trail only has about 300 to 400 feet of elevation, and as we leave the meadow, this is where we start going uphill. I love these elevated boardwalks, they're so pretty. The uphill portion of this hike is nice because it's really gradual and you're under the shade of the big trees as you make your way up. We reached a junction for Drake Lake, but we're heading to Devil's Kitchen, less than a mile. Two things to note about this section. First, there's a lot of bugs, and second, they said sometimes there's bears in this area. I'm all by myself, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I didn't see any bears, and I didn't see any other people either, so it was a nice little walk through the forest on the way to Devil's Kitchen. I'm starting to smell that sulfur smell of the geothermal area, so I think we're almost there. In case you were wondering, it's like a rotten egg smell. If you brought your horses, I guess this is where you hitch them up before heading down. Once you finally arrive at the Devil's Kitchen area, you'll descend a small hill and see the geothermal area in front of you. It is more spread out than Bump as Hell, but it has a good amount of features that you can explore. There's a short quarter-mile trail here that takes you up close to many of the geothermal features. There's all sorts of nice marked trails that take you to the different areas so that you don't have to go off trail. The first thing you'll notice in this area is all the steam vents on the hillside in front of you. As you pass the steam vents, you'll get to the most impressive part of the Devil's Kitchen. I thought that was the coolest section, but then I came around the corner. This is definitely the coolest section. Check out all the colors. This area has some really impressive yellow and red colors with the gray water. If you visit this area, be sure to watch the signs and not go off trail, as the ground can crumble, leading to some severe burns. This trail is so cool. There's a lot of different interesting viewing areas. The little loop trail down here is short, but you're definitely going to want to take your time as there's a lot to soak in, and I did the whole thing twice just to see it all. Listen to all this bubbling going on by this major steam vent. I guess that's why it looks like this. Alright, we're heading back to the start and we're going to go to the Boiling Springs Lake. I was one of only 2 people there while I was exploring this area, and it was really cool to basically have it to myself. After that, it was a 1.5 miles back to the cutoff for Boiling Springs Lake. Alright, we made it back to the junction. We're going to go to Boiling Springs Lake, which is 0.7 miles, before heading back to the car. The trail from here is basically all uphill on a series of switchbacks to get up towards the lake. Boiling Springs Lake Loop. And this is the PCT right here. From the Boiling Springs Lake Loop sign, it's only 1/4 mile to get to the lake itself. This part of the trail is mainly flat as well. You guys, look at how cool the color is right here. So crazy with that lake color too. Boiling Springs Lake gets its unique color from the steam vents that are located underneath it and supposedly keep the water a constant 125 degrees. That's actually really cool. Look at that color. It looks like it might be boiling way out there, but I'm not 100% sure. The boiling mud pots along the shoreline are supposed to be some of the best in the park as well, but I didn't really see any when I was there. You can definitely hear something going on in there. Listen to this. I took my time walking around the lake a little bit to soak in the different views, and I believe you can go around the entire lake and loop back on the PCT if you want to. You can also increase the hike's distance and head out to Terminal Geyser, but I didn't do that on this trip. This was absolutely worth the walk up here. The colors are incredible and the lake is really cool as well. That's it for this hike. You can see all of my Lassen National Park content in the description, and we'll see you on the next video.